Do you want to learn how to make these shreds? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to Creating Hanley. I am the Hanley at Creating Hanley, and today we are doing these shred crumb blocks in the theme of the United States flag. So red, white, and blue. And the reason why I wanted to do this theme with these shreds is because in a previous video, perhaps you saw this block of the month. This is our June block of the month for our Sew a Year Full of Stars quilt project. And this is a little bit bigger than our 12.5-inch block, but this is the finished product so far. Now I did not quilt sandwich it yet, but this is the quilt block with the border on, and this is way bigger, so when I trim it down, when I put my quilt sandwich together, we're going to trim this border down, the sashing. Yeah, it's a border, and then it'll be perfect 12.5 inch. Anyway, this is where the material came from for our material for the shreds today. So from this, I had some leftover fabric that I made into these crumb quilts blocks. These crumb quilt blocks. So in another previous video, I showed you how to do these. So I made them in a chevron type fashion. You don't have to, but that's what I did. So we're getting a little bit smaller, right? We go from this fabric to now this fabric. We saved the crumbs or the scraps, and then we made this block. And you should watch the video to see what we used for the backing, for the foundation. And now we're getting even smaller. We're going down here, guys. So this one looks a little bit different from this one. This has more shreds. You can see this is more like trash bin type of fabric, and this is just kind of like pieces, but like scratched up, right? Which is basically what I did. So we're gonna make these today. So you can see the progress or the progression, right? It goes from here to here. It goes from the big to the little. So let me take you down to the cutting surface and I'll show you how we are going to put this together. Okay, here we go. So this is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you have seen this product before. This is the 931 TD Pellon Fusible Midweight, and it's the thickness of just regular paper. So that's what we're using today, and you want to make sure the smooth side is down and the puffy or the rigid side or the bumpy side is up, because this is the glue. These are the glue dots, and the glue dots activate when they're heated. So I have my heat on my iron over here, and then what I'm going to do to help me just a little bit before the glue becomes active is just take stick glue, and I'm just going to go along the edges here and maybe a little bit in the middle, and this just helps to keep my fabric in place because it does shift quite a bit when I'm trying to work with it because they are such small pieces. And now this is what I have left. So from all those projects I made, this is all that I have left, and I really want to use these up. So you can see this is a little bit bigger. This is a nice, scrappy piece, probably a crumb. And then they go down in size. And notice I don't have any shreds. Like I don't have anything that looks like strings or like bird's nest. I don't have anything like that. So what I'm going to do is create it, and I'll show you how we do that. So this is all I have left. These are all the fabric pieces that I have left that I want to attach onto this foundation. So because I don't have any shreds, and how do you get shreds is usually when you're trimming up your blocks. So because I had a lot of trimming to do on these blocks, I made 4 stars per quilt block. So this is a block, a block, a block. Like I made the blocks These are, so basically it's a 4-patch unit for the bigger quilt block. So you make smaller quilt blocks to create the bigger quilt block. This is creating Hanley, right? So that's basically what you do for this one. You create that 4-patch, and then when you're trimming all these blocks, that's how you get those shreds. That's how you get these little shred pieces. Okay? Now the bigger ones, when you're like, cutting off like bigger pieces of fabric, that's how you get longer strips. And then I just put them diagonally on the foundation piece to create those crumb blocks. Okay? So it's those trimmings that you get these shreds. So we're going to do that here. However, I don't have any shreds left over, so I'm going to create some. And now I have it started over here on my cutting mat right here. You can see that. Let's get that out of the way. So all I've done is taken a piece of fabric that's a little bit bigger, and then I just come in at a very slight cut, and you can see how tiny that is. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just creating shreds. Because this is what I would be doing if I was trimming a block, right? I would be creating these shreds, and that is exactly the goal. Okay? So there we go. Now, do I just want blue? No. Maybe I switch it up a little bit. I want red, white, and blue. This is the theme of the American flag, the United States flag. So let's get some red and white in here as well. Okay. Maybe I get a little bit of this type too. So see how this comes to a point? That's useless. I can't do anything with that. You cannot put that in a quilt. So let's just trim that off, just like that. Maybe create another piece, just like that. And now to get even smaller, trim, trim. So you just move the ruler back a little bit and then cut alongside. Move it back and cut alongside. And you can see how you get these shreds. You don't have to make them super small like that. You can make them a little bit wider if you like. The needle picks that up a little bit better. The needle does, in your machine, does pick up, those wider pieces. So you can do that. And then if there's a piece like maybe you want to square off or something, you can always do that. Shred it until you get it to the size where you want it to be. Right? So you can make a little triangle. You can do your narrower to bigger, so whatever works for you. That is how you create your own shreds. If you don't have any and you want to create like a bird's nest or a, I've been calling them trash bin trimmings. That's how you create this pile of scrap right there. Okay, so now you want to take it over to your surface and just start putting down your, so if this is like really big and you think, I'm going to cut that in half. So, oops, there goes my ruler. So then you just take this back over here. Then you just trim it. Do you have to use this ruler? No. I'm just using it to keep it a little bit more uniform, but you don't have to at all. So, right side's up. Make sure your pretty side is up. And then you just start placing. It doesn't have to go in any order. Just, it doesn't even have to make sense. Whatever makes sense to you, that's what you want to do. Now, some of these still have like threads on from when I was sewing. I just left a thread on. Not a big deal there. I don't know. Maybe I'll throw this. I don't know. This kind of goes maybe like that. Maybe we'll do that. And then here's a white. So this white on white, you want to make sure that you get the correct side up. I mean, if the back side looks prettier to you and you want to do that, then have at it. All right, here we go here. I'm gonna just let that hang off a little bit. I will trim that up later, but right now we'll just leave that there. Let's see, what else can we do? We can add that to there. And because my, this is a good place to trim this, actually. And because I put the glue down, it really does help with the this fabric staying in place. Okay. Let's just throw these bigger pieces down. This one I'm going to shred. So I'll take it back over to the cutting surface again. And shred this. Now, do we have to cover the entire surface of the foundation? It's white, so I'm doing a red, white, and blue theme, you know, the American flag theme. Do we have to cover the entire surface? Actually, yes. It's probably a good idea that you do that because otherwise it looks kind of unfinished. I mean, if that's the look you're going for, then that's the look you're going for. But you probably want it to look a little bit finished. A little bit finished. All right. Or maybe a lot finished. Okay. So, which means I'm going to fill in some of this space here. And maybe over here. Oh, let's do that. And then with the rest of it, so my foundation is still showing a little bit, I'm just going to throw these shreds on. And the shreds will cover that. If you have enough shreds, it'll take over. I need a little bit more shreds, and fortunately, I have a couple more pieces left. I'm just going to shred these up. I'll do it real quick off camera. Add another piece here. But you can see now how this starts to become looking like a bird's nest. And that's kind of what you want. Now, bird's nests, I do them no favors by saying bird's nest because bird's nests are actually usually they are very organized. Birds have a very particular way of putting their nests together. So they're very particular on that, which actually is what I'm doing here. I'm being very particular in making sure the majority, I can't probably get all of them, but the majority of the strips face upwards. Okay. Now, that looks a little weird. A little bit weird. I'm going to cut some more pieces here. Just because I do see like big gaps of foundation showing through, and I really don't want that. I don't. I want my piece to look finished. Even though it is kind of crazy and all jumbled mess, that's fine. That's the look I'm going for, but I still don't want foundation showing all the way through. So I am going to cover that. Now, if I had a lot more shreds and just piled it on there, you wouldn't even be able to see the foundation. But because I don't have that, I'm going to cut some more strips here. Actually, okay. This is looking good. Alright guys, what do you think of that? I'm going to take this over to the machine. I think this is good. It looks like I have covered all of the foundation, the fusible webbing in the background. So that's what I want. And then I've created enough shred in the center that I believe it works. So, yeah, let's just leave that there. Now these are the only two pieces that I have left. I actually might try to just use them up. So let me take you back over to the cutting surface. And then just going to shred this up so you guys can see how quick you just get that done. And then take it back over here and shred away. Just right in the center there. Perfect. I think that works. All right, guys, let's take this over to the machine. Okay, right there. So I usually like to start in the center. Now, I have had a question. Why don't you, Kimberly, iron this first? So normally I just don't iron it. I just take this through the machine and then I iron second. So let's try to iron it right now. Let me bring this over. And I'll just iron it and press it. So I'm not ironing, like I'm not moving the iron around. I just want to follow the directions on the package and I'm just pressing. So you want that glue, those glue dots on the Pellon Fusible to melt. So you want to give it a little bit of time. Follow the directions on the package, and whatever fusible that you are using, follow the directions on that package. And then so you can see how it really flattens down so it's not puffy anymore, which might make your sewing a little bit easier because see how it's now squished down there? It's like a flat pizza. There's no dimension to it. So I'm going to take it over to the machine, and I usually start in the center just because I kind of like to do that. And then kind of a slow-ish pace, and then take it over like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch, and then sew the next row down. Now I want to try to keep the right sides up so I get the color of the shreds. And again, some of these flipped over, so if I have the opportunity, I can be very particular and flip them up. There we go. Okay. That creates that end. Now I'm going to take it all the way, a little bit faster here, all the way to the end, to the other side. Wait a minute. Here we go. All right. And then I'm going to take it all the way back to this side. And I know it might be a little bit boring watching me do this, but we're quilting along together, right? We're doing this in real time. All right, so I'm going to push this little shred over to this side so it catches in the thread there. There we go. And I'm just making strips. Like this is just, you know, a square. Stars and stripes, basically. So we're doing strips. Just a grid. I'm not doing anything fancy. You can create a pattern with your thread if you'd like. I'm not. I'm just doing straight lines. That's usually what I do. It's not super fancy, but it gets the job done and it holds everything in place. There we go. Now I'm going to take this down one more time all the way to the other side. Here we go. And then here's the center where I started, so I'm going to start from here and work my way out. So I've created lines back and forth and up and down. So columns and rows is what I've done. Now this is really flat. So this is super flat. So it's a little bit more flat than I usually like. But at the end, we're going to try to fluff this up and see what happens. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I do not iron first, is because I try to keep it fluffy as possible. And then at the end, I iron to, grab so the glue melts and so it grabs the fabric. And so here we are, done. Now, if you look at the back, you can see the grid. It's all the way across, up and down, and side to side. It's hard, it might be hard for you to tell because I used white bobbin thread and blue thread on the top. So this is my test. This is what I do. I just kind of, wow, go crazy with this. And you can see all these shreds that just, fly off of here. Now, because I've already activated the glue is already in place. So, this is what we get. All right, and that is the final product. So I just kind of wipe it out, and then that's it. That's what we got right there. And then you can see down here, this is all the trash. This is all the fuzz that's left over that fell off of here. Now I know this is pretty good to go. Big pieces are not going to fall off, just a little teeny tiny fuzz. And that is our new, what do I call? I guess I call this shreds. Red, white, and blue, USA flag themed shred crumb block. All right. Thanks for playing along today, guys. Thank you for liking and subscribing my videos and sharing with all your quilting friends. You guys have a great day. And even if you just want to watch me do this, I'm happy you're along. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now. Happy creating.